Welcome back to Fighters Drinking Coffee. So, you've signed the waiver, you've walked into the gym, you've gotten the rental gi that's been washed. It's clean. You can tell it doesn't stink.
It stinks.
But it's fine. A little salty. It's the tears of the guy who wore it before you. And you're given a white belt. It's your first time training. You've never done jiu-jitsu before. You get on the mat and you suck. But don't worry, it's not forever. So the white belt experience, right? White belt mentality. We talk about this. We've talked about this with other people. We've had guests on. And we talk about being new at something and not necessarily being the best at it anymore. And that's one of the beautiful things about jiu-jitsu, right? You have people from all kinds of walks of life. Some of them are the best at whatever it is they do in their professional career. Like, they're great. They're crushing it. They're making tons of money. I don't know. However you want to measure your success. That's how you do it in business sometimes.
Money, yeah.
But, like, however you measure your success in your thing that you do. And then you do jiu-jitsu and you're getting beat up by 100-pound
Nerd.
kid who's 14, and it's humbling, right? You've got that scrawny kid who's beating you up, but you're like, but I'm so good at this other thing, but you're not good at jiu-jitsu yet. So, we've been doing this for a while. We both have, it was a different world when we started too. I think that's like we were talking about that before we started recording, is like how different it is now. So there are definitely things that I wish people told me when I started, or, things I would probably go back and tell myself because of the journey I've been on, right? Like it's some of them might be specific to my journey in jiu-jitsu, but either way, it's like, we both have things like that. And we also have some stories, I'm sure, of the people that we started with. But let's start with the concept of the white belt mentality. You're in a new place. You've never done jiu-jitsu. Maybe you are a black belt in a different art, even, but that doesn't matter here. You're on new mats with new people doing something new. And one of the first things you should be doing is leaving everything in. I'm not saying leave your ego at the door. Yeah, whatever. There's an amount of ego that you should have because, yes, different episode. Ego is a whole different thing. That's the cliche though. Leave your ego at the door. But what I would recommend is leave all of that other knowledge and experience for now, because it might be helpful later, but leave it off the mats for now, because you are here to learn jiu-jitsu. That would be my first thing. And next week, you'll get to hear an episode about belt promotions. This kind of plays into that. You might be really good at something else that might be applicable, but that does, let's focus on jiu-jitsu right now. Let's get good at that. Let's be bad at something so that we can get better at it, right? So yeah, I mean, inputs on that, Scott.
Well, the first thing I would tell a white belt is learn how to tap out. So yeah, like we were discussing before the show, about how different it was when we first started 20 years ago. Towards the beginning of the millennia, dude, we used to get just like, I think I rolled immediately, which is just like, maybe at some point we can talk about how much different, how good these white belts got it now these days compared to when we first started. But, when I first started, you sort of got tossed into it. And it wasn't like there was, no guidance whatsoever. That would be a little extreme to say. But you went to like your average all levels class, even now, right, to this day, has like warm up, technique, then sparring. seems to be like a common formula for pretty much all classes in some capacity. That was the case when I first started, and it was like you would show up, and where I trained, there wasn't really like an intro program. You went to classes, and people were cool. People were fine back then. It's not like everyone was kind of like. I mean, people would definitely were out to kill you. That hasn't really changed. You're the new guy. Like sometimes people just come after you. Big deal. Learn to tap, which like it's not that hard. You tap a bunch of times on the person on the mat. You scream if you have to, but do all that because, like you said, you're the new dude and you don't know anything. But duh. That's why you showed up. That's why you signed up. Like you said, that's why you signed the waiver. That's why you're here. Like I don't know shit. Like cool. Let's go learn some stuff. And I do think I try to be sympathetic to this. I think it's Nakapan teaches these really good seminars on like the customer experience for a brand new person. We talk about sadistic martial arts too, for sure. But like, when someone arrives for like a free trial or whatever, like they're probably nervous. That's a reasonable place to be. I mean, if you're not nervous, it'd be nice if they weren't nervous, but like I think it's understandable. It can be kind of like intimidating to show up in a fighting gym. Everyone thinks that. Like, I mean, part of like our job, like speaking to these seminars, it's to make this as welcoming as possible. So like, because I think everyone is aware, on the other side of things, like, hey, like we were all once the brand new guy, and you want that person you want to like get them indoctrinated into the culture in a healthy way, and let them like make them feel as comfortable as possible doing this new challenging thing. Because that's what it is. And like this is, I think, the theme of like the way you let us in here is like, hey, like you suck, no big deal. That's why you're here. You want to like pick up something new, and you're going to learn. Hopefully, going to show up as often as your contract at your academy will allow. And max that out. Like if you're new, like max that out, man. Go get your money's worth. Go squeeze all the knowledge you can out of it. But it is challenging. It can be a little scary for people. These are reasonable emotions, and I would say that's kind of like your central nervous system, kind of like preparing you for like a fun new experience. Like it's going to be a challenge. Nervous. Ooh, cool.
I'm giddy. Yeah, you were nervous.
Yeah.
Nervous the first time you do anything.
That's right.
Probably nervous the first time you met your significant other.
Yeah,
if that's what it is, to give someone a good
analogy,
a good like, hey, remember when you met that person you really like?
Nerves are a good thing.
You were nervous.
Nerves are a good thing. Yeah, it's a normal, it's a healthy, good thing.
It worked out fine for you.
Yeah. Sure. But anyways, but yeah, dude, like I said, go back like to my first statement, like learn to tap out. You're the new dude. Like the point of jiu-jitsu, amongst other things, if you're listening to this and you're pretty new, it's to learn how to like positionally grapple someone so you can submit them. So submissions are coming. One of the submissions is to get the other person to quit before something breaks, fall asleep. So like you don't want to break, you don't want to fall asleep, particularly when you're new. Really ever, but like whatever. Another conversation. That'll end up happening at some point, but that's all part of the fun learning experience too.
Side note on that, for the guys who are rolling with the new guy,
yeah, don't try to hurt them.
Also make sure they might not know when to tap yet. So if they're not tapping,
tap for
let's
them.
look out for our new friend.
Tap
before
for
they
them.
Never come back again.
That's right. People for the most part are really good about that, thankfully. And that's like just like, you have a good training culture. Like people look out for the new guys usually. It's really nice.
Don't be the guy the coach says, don't roll with him. To the new guy,
dude,
right?
Yeah, I mean, I God, it's been so long, but like, I mean, I can tell you this: in 20 years, I've lost count of how many times I've tapped out. It just becomes behavior. Like you got to do it. It's, yeah, obviously you're protecting yourself. It's also like usually at that point for our white belts, like that's like a good stopping point for you to like. That's a moment of education too. So, I guess other thing for white belts, it's like, this isn't so easy to articulate, but I'll attempt to do it. If you know how you learn things and your mind is well trained to like stop and like pay attention to like data you're receiving and saying, oh, cool, that just happened. I tapped out. So when you're white belt, you might not know how to do that just yet. And like you said, maybe you're good at doing that in other environments. So to kind of like respond to what you said earlier. Like if in a healthy way, like if you know how you learn, if like you've mastered a skill in something else, and you're like you understand the system you learned from whatever that experience is, and that is like a framework mentally for you to like to develop skills. Like you could take something like that and like try to apply whatever that mental framework is towards this new experience. But like do that, do something like that to the best of your ability. If you don't have that schematic in your brain, like try it in this environment. For me, it's been personal thing. I take most of the skills or hats that I wear in life and try to apply a jiu-jitsu framework to it. Maybe, I don't know, a meathead thing. It's like, this is one of the only things I think I understand. And so it's been a really useful tool for me to like white belt mentality, perhaps to assess whatever it is I'm doing in life and say, like, all right, how is this a parallel to what I do in jiu-jitsu? That framework for me, that as a person, like that experience is like a really useful schematic for me for like extracting value. So maybe mine is the reverse. It's sort of like, jiu-jitsu taught me how to learn better, probably because I care about it. School didn't teach me how to learn. It may have. It didn't not, but it didn't. You gotta like, I guess if you find something you care about and you really like and you like want to get the most out of it, like learn to do these things. But anyways, so like I use jiu-jitsu for like other stuff in life. But anyways, like if you're coming, you're the new guy, and you know, maybe you're like 30 or something, like you're not like a brand new human being. I started when I was like a teenager. So I was a brand new human being. But ish. Technically
you were but a boy.
I was but a boy, definitely. But anyways, so I was too much of a fucking dumbass to like really understand how to do this. So jiu-jitsu was my like, you know, my life lesson. But if you're like coming into this as a grown man or grown woman or whatever, and like, you know, you can use some wisdom from some like I said, it's all for me goes back to just like learning, like just knowing how you learn and pick things up. Like take that framework, try to be as observant as possible in this new experience. You talked about this in the last episode, which is like, have fun, man. Have fun being the new guy, and like not like being at the bottom of the totem pole. No big deal. Like, again, that's why you showed up. Like I competition pivot. We should have like a button that we push, and we should, yeah, we need a button, dude, for when we like use like the competition parallel. But I talk about this with people who are going into their first competition, particularly if they've never competed in like a lot of sports before. Because if you have like athletes or good like wrestlers, great example, like they kind of understand a lot of this stuff already. Wrestling is the best for like, it's great. But anyways, or like whatever what it does to like an athlete insofar as like teaching them systems and like how to like be good at, yeah, just systems. But anyways, I'll come back to that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But whatever. Like if you don't have,
let's not commit to it.
Let's not commit to it.
We might get there,
it'll probably.
Let's not sign ourselves up for something.
The competition. What I was going to say was like when someone does their first competition, I have this like refrain that I'm like, you haven't really earned the right to have expectations just yet. You know, like I think it's really good. Like go in with the attitude like I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go for the win. But if you're expecting to be like the beast at the thing you've never done before, like that could have a negative impact. So it's go in with an idea and a goal and assess yourself, right? Like have a plan. Try to execute it, but like you don't know what you don't know. And so competition pivot was, I don't remember why or how I pivoted. Walk me through my mind.
No,
through my stats.
That makes sense. Like,
okay, good.
You can't go into your, I get you.
You see what I'm saying?
You can't go into your first competition expecting certain results. Just like you can't, if you walk into the gym
and you expect you're to be the man,
and your expectation is, oh, you know, in like 2 to 3 years,
I'll be killing all these guys.
I'm going to be the best one in here, or I'm going to get my black belt in 3.5 years. I'm the next big thing. Derek Moneyberg. That was uncalled for. Well, it's kind of called for. But you know, like, you have to have realistic expectations. And if you set a goal that's like so lofty that you're going to be disappointed in a month,
mm-hmm.
you know, like
that's what we're talking about.
You need to have a realistic expectation of what this is going to be. You're brand new. You've never done this before. If you think that, you know, I'm going to show up, I'm just going to be naturally good at this. And then my goal from this is I'm going to be competing on the biggest stage and I'm going to be right up there with the best people, you're probably going to quit.
Yeah.
If that's your goal, you're probably going to quit when in 2 years, you're getting smashed by the dude who just dropped his kids off at soccer practice, smells like, cigarettes. Like, you're going to be bummed out when that dude's just crushing you and you're just still suck at jiu-jitsu because you're so focused on this lofty goal, right? So like, you got to leave that idea behind. Your goal should just be to learn jiu-jitsu. So like, yeah, you just like you said, you don't have
You saved me, Mike.
You don't have the right.
You saved me.
You don't have the right to have expectations like that.
You got to earn the expectation.
That's something that you can develop later. Like, develop that goal later of what you want your jiu-jitsu journey to be. Your goal should be
show up
to have a jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a really good point. And like, yeah, absolutely. That parallel with competition, like, I mean, any competition doesn't have to be your first one. You should not have an expectation of how that comp's going to turn out because you're just setting yourself up to fail. If you go and you're like, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, I'm going to put them in this hole and then I'm going to win. You're going to not do any of that. And then that first move happens, whatever it is, doesn't work. And then you're like, fuck, what do I do? I guess I'll lose, right? Like, just you're setting yourself up for failure because it's just too rigid. So I mean, be flexible, right? I think
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think that's kind of like be
mentally, emotionally flexible.
Definitely emotionally.
You could be literally flexible too. That's fine, but I know where you're at.
Also helpful when jiu-jitsu, but like be ready to pivot. Things are going to happen in your life. And like this probably falls into the things I wish this is something I would tell myself back at day one. Things are going to happen in your life. The gym you're training at is going to close. Your coach is going to move, or your training partners are going to move, and like things are going to change, and your life is going to change, especially when you started as young as we did. Like when you started as a teenager, a bunch of different shit's going to happen in your life. And between when you started I don't know, wherever you are in jiu-jitsu now, not going to say when your jiu-jitsu journey ends. Hopefully that's when you're dead.
Agreed.
But like you have to be willing to take that adversity because honestly, like that's one of the biggest things that like you can learn from jiu-jitsu is stuff's going to suck. You're going to experience adversity. You're going to have hard things that you have to problem solve. And that's something that's gonna that you're gonna have to deal with the whole time you're doing jiu-jitsu. And if you accept that now as a white belt and you prepare yourself for that mentally, you're gonna be way better off than your peers that don't accept that and aren't ready for that because they're too focused on their goal and not willing to change that or willing to adapt to that, which is good. It's good to be focused on your goal, but you gotta be ready to adapt. You gotta be flexible with your game plan, competition pivot. But you gotta be flexible with all of that because jiu-jitsu is ever changing. Everyone you train with is moving around. You might move for a career opportunity outside of jiu-jitsu and it puts you in a new place. And this is another me thing. You should find a new place to train, right? That was a little, but like, don't stop doing it just because it's not the exact environment. It's not perfect anymore, right? Like you're not comfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable. So like that's another aspect of that. Be willing to be uncomfortable, be flexible, all of that.
I think that's excellent. I had a conversation with one of our fighters a couple months back about how we've been fighting for like 7 or 8 years now. Pretty good amount of time, but kind of on that, he's like new-ish in the bigger picture, but like tenured enough that like he's like, I've seen these guys, like some of my closest, best, and favorite training partners moved on. Things are going to change, like you said, and like I think that's really good. It's really wise, Mike, to share that. And like we talked about so many times, it's like just keep showing up. Keep showing up because yes, like things are gonna change. Um, Environments will change, people will change, you will change. And ideally, the white belts listening, like this is something you want to commit to for years. And like if you're gonna commit to it, like keep active. Like when things change, like you said, like say it's a personal change, like you went from training 3 to 5 times a week and you have a kid, you get a new job, you move to a new city or whatever, and like your cadence maybe dips down to once a week or once every other week. Like it's still better than nothing. And now the ideal situation would be like, all right, you go through that change and then you find your rhythm back to getting a good velocity of training. You know, you're 3 to 5 days back or something like that. That's ideal. But it may not be always realistic depending on the circumstances of your life. So, but whatever it is, like keep your activity up, be flexible, like you said, be mentally and emotionally agile. And these are parallels. Like you learn it from jiu-jitsu, how to do these things, how to endure tough situations, and keep moving, for example. So, I think that's a really good one, man, for the white belts.
And for everyone,
For the
eventually,
all belts.
a little bit, but definitely at white, like that's something that, I mean, I think I moved within the first year and a half, 3 different gyms, 3 different gyms.
It's a lot.
It started at one, then that program closed, followed the Kush to another one. He was like, "Oh, well, go to this gym." I was at that place for like 3-4 months. 4 months. That gym closed.
Some months.
That gym closed. Sold actually to a karate place, which then was like, "Well, you can come do karate." I was like, "I don't want to do karate. I'm doing jiu-jitsu."
Interesting. So they bought a jiu-jitsu business to then make it karate.
I think they just bought the client list.
Oh, interesting.
You know, it is one of those things where they probably bought the client list and they did, whatever. I don't know. I was like,
fascinating.
I'm cool. Just cancel my membership. I'll figure it out. Then I was training at college. Then I found Nova MMA, and then I was there for a while, and then whatever.
That changed.
But so like it's that's a very normal thing that happens. Coaches leave, gyms close, training partners leave. It happens. Another thing is learn to troubleshoot. We have this, and this lends into what you're talking about with tap, right? We have this awesome thing in this sport where like you can reset you get a redo button, right? Every single round, you get redo buttons when you're in the gym. Now in the tournament, whatever.
Yeah,
that's not what we're talking about.
I get it.
But you get a redo button, right? Like we're rolling, you pass my guard, you go in, you hit an arm bar, tap. Let's redo it. Let's start over. You just sit there. You can just troubleshoot. You can go through the exact same thing over and over and over again. It can even be a replay button over and over and over again. Each time get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. So like be willing to do that. Tap early, tap often, be in bad positions, lose. You're in the gym. There's no gym record. You don't have a record of your sparring rounds. Lose over and over and over again until you're not losing in those situations. It makes you better. It makes your partners better. Just keep losing. Until you're not losing in those situations, you start getting the better of those scenarios. But like, just keep doing it. Use that reset button, tap, do it again, and just keep doing it again. That's something, honestly, like that probably would have benefited me at one point where like, like rather than learning something, you're like, fuck, I'll just do the thing I'm good at. I'll just wrestle or I'll just be on top. I just won't be on bottom anymore. It sucks. I don't want to be there. If dude keeps tapping me out, eventually you get over it. Great example was when I first started training with Sam, Shawa when we were at Nova. He would hit the same, it was like the same move on me. But he would hit the exact same move out on me. This was when he was a purple belt, and I believe it might have been when I was a white belt still. And like, it frustrated the hell out of me because he kept hitting the same move. But instead of like, this was the point where I actually started trying to be good at jiu-jitsu. Rather than like just be like, you know what, I'm just not going to go to that situation. I was like, no, I am going to go here every single minute of every single roll until this stops happening. And like, that's going to make you better. Be willing to lose over and over again, especially in the beginning. Because then it turns into a game, right? Of like, well, my goal today, which I actually set goals, micro goals. But, you know, like my goal today is to, rather than getting swept here in guard from this position, is to, you know, maybe I force them to use a different sweep. Or, I mean, ultimately, you know, if I can win the exchange, but force the exchange to be different than it was yesterday. Make them do something different because I'm able to block whatever it was they've been beating me with every day, right? So like this goes back to the not setting the lofty goal, right? Have that goal be so small that you're able to attain it, that like when you go into the gym, because then you're going to keep coming back. You're going to keep showing up. You're going to keep getting better versus like, and I mean, you know, rather than setting yourself up for failure and being like, I'm going to fight in the UFC. I think less people do that now than they used to. People still do, but I don't think it's as like, you don't have as much of it as you used to. You know, like if that's your goal, cool. But what's your goal today? Let's not talk about
down
later.
the road.
Yeah, let's not, you need a goal for today. So, that would be another advice I have, that I set that when I'm editing the podcast. Well, I'm going to make the audio quality a little bit better today. You know, I get a redo button on this too. I hit undo if it fucks it up.
There you go.
Same thing when I'm doing like content stuff, when I'm like doing video tutorials for whatever, or I'm doing, I hate social media, but it's something I have to do, right? So when I'm doing content, sometimes it doesn't get the traction. All right, well, we won't do that one again. We'll try something else, right? Same thing in jiu-jitsu, but you can translate that anywhere. You guys all did this, crazy hands. You guys all did this when you started your career, right? You tried new things. You went out there and, you know, you had a goal of where you wanted to end up, but you knew you had to try out how to get there. You did one job and you were told that you need to do X, Y, and Z to get to the next position, or to elevate yourself from there. And like, you figured out how to do that your way. And, you know, sometimes you messed up. Guarantee you most people weren't perfect at whatever career they're in now. When they first started, you made mistakes. Maybe you got fired. Maybe you found a new job. Maybe you couldn't move up wherever you were, so you got as high as you could, and then you took that experience, you went over here and you got higher up. You know, it's gonna be like that, right? So I'm gonna start rambling if I keep talking. Or have to redirect a little bit.
Yeah, I can help you out now. You know, I like that. It's amongst the things you said that were valuable. One of the good ones I think was the micro goals, which we've talked about. We've had an episode on that before. It's because another theme that we spoke about earlier, things are going to change. Like if you're a white belt listening, like you're going to pick up skills quickly. Actually, will acquire a bunch of skills. Like you're going to start learning all this stuff is talking about, like being bad and this and that. But you're going to learn, and that's going to be fucking cool. You're going to have fun. You're going to be like, ooh, there's going to be a lot of big aha moments that happen in rapid succession pretty quickly. Like if you're assuming you're like training decently often, and you're trying this out, and you're like, well, I'm having fun. I want to keep getting better. And then you might plateau a little bit, but even like it's like, you know, or you might experience what feels like a plateau, where perhaps your goals have shifted a little bit. You're like, all right, well, I'm not just a white belt. I'm a white belt with 1 or 2 stripes now, so I know a little bit, and now I want to do well against the other 2-3 stripe white belts or whatever. Plus, close to getting blue belt, parallels to what we talked about earlier. But having those miniature goals and like remembering that frame of mind of I'm picking up the following skills. Let's say you're definitely not mastering them as well. You might feel like I'm starting to get it. So some things might not be as hard for you. The next thing's going to be hard for you. The next hard, challenging situation is going to be there. It'll come quickly. And it's usually presented to you when you start to think that way. Like what I mentioned earlier, we're like, okay, I got a couple stripes now. Maybe I've been on the mat 6-7 months, training 2 to 3 times a week. Like I'm picking this stuff up. But now you want to like try to pull off either the stuff you're getting good at or the new thing on someone who's a little bit better than you, or at least as good as you. And it starts getting hard. It's hard again. So kind of remembering that always, like when you rapidly start to grow, just temper your expectations like we talked about earlier. Remember, like, hey, you're still early on in this. You're still in that like upward trajectory of learning and growth. Maybe you hit that plateau where, and again, I say it feels like a plateau, but you are definitely learning. You're learning exactly what we're talking about right here, where it's like you have to like start to modify things a little bit. And remember, just go back to where you were a couple months before and say, all right, well, crap, like now I'm having a hard time at X, Y, and Z. Oh, let's figure this out.
Well, and you start, you learn so much so fast because you knew nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And now
you know some things.
You know stuff. And now there's just less that you don't know. I mean, you still, but like,
there's a lot you know.
You start learning slower because there's just less, the pool is getting smaller, right? Like, it's still pretty big, but you're not learning as fast because like, oh, well, like you're just, you're perfecting this, or perfecting might be a little strong at that point.
Definitely, but I know what you mean.
Like
you feel like you are.
You're practicing this thing, like you have to also work on the things you've just learned a bunch of. Like you learned 12 moves. And now you're working on those 12 moves, but also trying to learn a new move. But you're not going to be able to learn 12 more moves because you just learned 12 moves. And you also have to figure out how to be decent, at least passable at those 12 moves to where you can use them. And so, yeah, your knowledge trajectory, your like trajectory to attaining knowledge starts to slow. You start to learn a little bit less at a time because now you actually know things. So you can't grab as much, right? Mm-hmm. Because then you're learning, you don't really know 12 things. You're now learning 12 things, but also trying to learn another
the
4.
13th thing, yeah.
Yeah, so like you're really still learning 13 things, but you think you know those things, which is another thing. Don't think you know that, but don't think you're a master at that yet.
Yeah,
because trust me, it's just getting started. You still suck at those things. In fact, I still suck at some of those things, and I've been doing this for 15 years, right? Like, and so like, don't think you're not still learning. That's what you're saying. You're still learning. Just adding less things at a time.
No, I think it's valid, dude. And it makes a lot of sense. And that's probably like the cause of the quote unquote plateau that this newer student might be feeling, which is that, like you said, like, all right, like, because if they've learned the 12 things, they're definitely still learning for sure. But like they have a grasp in some capacity on it. They're probably still trying to do them. Yeah. So it's like you said, like your mind can only at a certain point. It's like you're growing the muscle of learning how to like learn in this environment. And it does not happen overnight. It takes a long time. So, another one, like basically it's, end of the day, it's just keep showing up. Like it's stuff, well, you don't have to think too much about thinking. Thinking is a challenge, but you to the best of your ability, you do think about thinking, but don't think about thinking too much because you're going to learn by showing up. But okay, back to my point here, which is that those 12 moves that you think that that you're like, I can do these things, but like, crap, man, like I can do them sometimes, not every single time. Like you're still going to be grappling with that a little bit, man. You're going to be working on those things. Plus, like you said, new move of the day just got introduced to you. Hey, new thing. Now it's in front of your face. Like, well, cool. Can I do that too? And maybe pick it up. Maybe don't pick it up because you still have that other 12 things on your plate. You're trying to eat those still. And that's just part of the journey. That's part of that's part of like the experience of like getting to that plateauing point and saying, all right, cool. Those first 12 things, man, I picked those up fast. That was really awesome. Now it feels like the progress has slowed a little bit. Well, you hadn't quite digested the food on the plate. It's still kind of passing through your system. So yeah, you're still figuring those things out. Now you're trying to jam in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more things. Just embrace all that. I mean, a good coach and good training partners will help you like realize these things. There's really no way around it. Like you're gonna, the progress feels like it ebbs and flows. just keep doing it, man. Like you said, if it's always fun for you, and if you have like the more humble your attitude is, it'll always be fun. Like every practice, if you like, this is a privilege. I get to do this. It's gonna be really awesome. I'm practicing fighting. I'm doing ninja shit with my buddies. This rules.
Yeah,
Like
you're getting
win, lose, draw, dude. Like it's so fun. It's so awesome. Like just keep doing it, man. You are getting better. You know, like after a long time, like get your black belt. All this stuff happens at black belt too, man. You're like, all right, nice. And it's particularly if you compete, competition button. There it is. You just like you go on, you do these things, and you get like murked again. You're like, all right, well, I think there's like a saying where it's like you're a black belt, you get to be a white belt all over again, which is true. It sounds corny.
Well, yeah, well, they tell you the journey has just begun.
Yeah,
right?
and it's true. It's true. It's kind of it sounds silly, but you got a black belt around your waist. But
Jiu-jitsu is full of cliches. The more and more we talk about it, it's like
cliches, I guess they're there.
So good.
I know, but
but
they make sense too. They're valid, man. It's like I get why they're a cliche, I suppose. But yeah, you just you go back through everything again and kind of you realize like, all right, well, it's sweet. Like I you said something earlier that I like, and my version of it or whatever. So I started talking about this like I don't know, like 7 or 8 years ago, and you could apply this to anyone. You could use like Gordon Ryan for this, but at the time I was like, can't do whatever move you think you're good at against like everyone in the. How about this? I'm like, can you do this? The move in your head, individual that I'm talking to, including myself. You do it to everyone in the academy. The answer is probably no. Let's say it's yes. Yeah, I can do this against everyone here. I'm like, cool. Can you do it against Guy Mendez? It was Guy Mendez at the time. I was like, this guy in my weight class. So if I can't do it to, can I do it to the best dude in the world? No. Okay, then I still have work to do on it. Right? Like it's, like,
I'm not done learning this. I'm
exactly,
not done practicing.
Exactly. And that's the white belt mentality, I suppose. Yo, man, like we're still working on stuff. It's always going to be a process of learning, even when you feel like you're getting good at it, bad at it, whatever. Just show up, man. Show up and train. That has the value is there. You don't always feel it. Lifting is a good example too. So you start lifting, like you get gains quick.
Yeah,
you get gains quick when you lift. Your body adapts to like if you've never lifted before, or like if you're young or whatever. Maybe you're sedentary and you start picking up like powerlifting and like it's cool. Like you bench 135 for the first time, like nice. All right, then you do 155. Like you'll keep incrementally getting until you get to a point where you're like, ooh, the gains become slower. You're definitely getting stronger by continuing to work wherever you're at. But Seam could talk about this shit way more than I could. What I'm saying is still true, but like we'll have a Seam talk about this analogy sometime. But then like you keep lifting. Like you're at least staying strong. If not, like every session you train makes you stronger in some capacity. And that's what I want to get across. Lifting, jiu-jitsu, whatever. Like you're getting stronger, but whether you see it or not, you definitely are. And I think once you get to that like level, it's like the numbers may not go up as much. Like I'm not tapping as many guys. Maybe I'm getting tapped out a little bit more than I want, but like I am getting stronger at something. Just accept that. Just keep training.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely you will run into that the entirety of your jiu-jitsu career too, of like the second you think you're getting good at something, you're going to start to think you're not. But yeah, I remember everyone else, just like you said, everyone else is getting better. Your training partners are just figuring out what you do. So they also just kind of know what your plan is, like what you're going to do. They know what you're good at. You've hit them with that armbar 18 times in the past month. They know it's coming.
You might start getting it once every 18 months on that person instead of 18 times in a month.
Because they
know it.
They just know.
They train with you.
They know it's coming now, right? Like
Shout out to competition. I'm hitting the competition button again. Go to the competition, try to do it against someone else.
Yeah, so like,
you could probably do it in the competition better
you'll
than
probably
you probably hit it. Yeah.
That one time you're hitting against the guy, you hit it over and over and over and over again.
It's going to be way harder probably than the guy in the tournament. Yeah, for sure.
Because they just start defending it 8 moves before you get to it.
They knew you were going for it.
They can't stop you from getting to it, but they're focusing the whole time you're moving on them. They're focusing on blocking that one thing.
Yep.
So, it's you're getting better and you just don't know it. But yeah, you're right. You're getting better and you don't know it at a certain point. I had another one. So a story. Did you have like where the new guys got mat enforced? Like that was like a thing that used to happen.
Oh,
You know, like there's like
yeah.
the two different types of
Oh, yeah.
new guy, right? Like there's the new guy that you're like, this guy's fine. We'll be nice to him. But then there's like the new guy, like
He's getting a little
maybe
after it too much.
they're like, that guy's is a little too
Meatheady.
big. He's a little too big for his britches. He's coming in here being a little too rough with everybody because for the most part, everyone's probably not really trying with the brand, like the guy they think is brand new, right? And then that guy comes out a little hot. Maybe they aren't brand new. I don't know. But like the guy who none of you have ever seen before, he said it's his first day. And like, so everyone's taking it easy on you. They're trying to teach you jiu-jitsu. They're trying to get you to sign up so they have more training partners. And that guy gets mat enforced. You get mat enforced because you're going really hard. So don't be that guy. Remember, you don't have to prove anything to anybody because most of these guys could probably beat you up if they wanted to.
Right.
And if you start doing too much, they're going to beat you up.
The mat enforcer thing is hilarious. And it's probably good that it exists. Because I have seen this lots of times, man. Countless times. And I always try to like, I have mat enforcers, many of them, thankfully. Because I don't like that. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm retired from that.
Well, and like,
But like,
that's the coach should not be the
That's
one
right.
doing it either.
That's
like,
right.
that's not, that's a
right.
different, that sends a whole different message,
That's
right?
That's right. Now, but my attitude towards it is I try to like explain to the new person, I try to talk the person who may need to be mat enforced out of being mat enforceable. Like, you can tell they're going to them like, hey, you just like temper them, like, man, slow it down. I think some of the, let's take a look at the enforcee for a second here. I think sometimes, okay, let's describe this person generally. It's generally like a big muscular guy, biggish, muscularish, athletikish guy who, comes into a fighting gym. They're new, don't know what they're doing. You can't fully understand their psychology. You can try to discern what you think is happening. Sometimes it's just these guys, they come in and I think they're like understandably a little nervous and they think they're like, oh crap, I got to fight for my life. Like, yes, but no.
They think 100% is
yes.
the right way to go.
That's right. And I think that's why, like, initially, I think you can talk a lot of people out of that. You can be like, hey man, like, dial it back. Like, I'm not going to learn like this. Like, you can slow some folks down just by explaining to them like, this isn't helpful for you.
Hey dude, we don't have to go 100% right now. That's not the point.
We don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't need to. And then sometimes those guys just got to be enforced. You got to break the stallion in, as I say. Like, you got to, like, sometimes you get like just some like strapping lad who doesn't know anything else. You just got to deploy the enforcers. Like, all right, just break them down. And then they will, if they get enforced. They get enforced successfully. The best is when you get like the archetype we're describing gets bigger and bigger, stronger. Then you're like, all right, who's going to do it?
Like, who's the guy?
Who's going to enforce this?
I can't send Timmy out there anymore. He's too small.
Legit. I will say that occasionally, a couple times a year, like if under the right circumstances, if I have to do something like this, sometimes I remind myself like, this is why you started jiu-jitsu originally. You take down this big strapping lad and then you go and you do it, but you do it in like a productive, healthy way. And we say mat enforce. It's really just go and you make them tap.
Oh yeah.
That's all it really is.
Well,
it's nothing crazy. You're not hurting them. You just got to get them to like chill. You got to break the stallion down. You got to break him in because the stallion's bucking and moving crazy. And you're like, hey, stallion. Hey man.
Well, and
you're going to get mounted.
The person needs to be able to do it with like
gracefully,
ease, right? Like it needs to seem effortless, right? The person's giving them their all, and like honestly, it could just be that like they're just chilling and they're just tiring that dude out, and then when he's tired, one little move and you tap him out, right? Like,
and 9 out of 10 times, it's this person doesn't know any better.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying like you can kind of like you can educate them and say, hey man, like you talk about it like having to be enforced. But sometimes the 1 out of 10 times, no, they just got to be mat enforced a little bit.
Like, hey, you tuckered yourself out there, bud.
And sometimes those dudes like they don't like it and they quit. But most of the time they're like they learn. They're like, cool man, got it. I didn't know any better. I was just a little nervous myself, like because a lot of those dudes are like they're still dudes. They're still regular people. Like they're a little nervous too. They think that they have to like oh we're sparring. Like I think the point of sparring is to beat the other guy, right? And like they don't know. So you think you that's why I think education goes a long way. But then some people got to learn through the process. So those guys get tapped, and like most of the time they stick around and they become great training partners. And now you got like a huge meathead, awesome athlete who can be a good training partner.
You know that the mat enforced, and this is sort of a tangent. It's not that like far up, but you know the mat enforced.
I like this tangent.
You know the mat enforced that it worked when the person asks you at the end, "How'd you do that?"
Yep.
Like, can you show me what you did there?
Yep.
Then you're like,
bang,
boom,
we got a training partner now.
We've got him, right? We have broken in the stallion.
I would love to, bro.
You're like, absolutely. Yep. I will show you exactly the move that I did to you. I'm not going to show you how to get out of it though.
No, I need to keep. I might have to keep breaking you in. Yeah.
I might still need that move because now I know it works on you. But I will show you what I did. That's how you know it worked. And like honestly, that means you just set the white belt mentality on that person too. You just showed them that like jiu-jitsu works, and this is why you need to start coming to class, and this is what you should be doing.
And chill a little bit.
You should be learning, right? Chill. Yeah, you should chill out. Yeah, come to class, learn some jiu-jitsu, because then you'll be able to do this to the next guy who comes in and is crazy.
If you're all rigid and maniacal, like you're not going to learn it.
You'll be able to with ease, like hot knife through butter, just wear them down and hit them with that sweet armbar. Like that's the way it should go. That's the way you want it to be. And like, just try to tie it back. That's how you should react at the end of it. If you get mat enforced or you're rolling with someone, don't get pissed off when the dude who's been doing jiu-jitsu for 15 years submits you easily. Yeah, obviously they did. They've been doing this for 15 years. This is your first day.
That goes back to the like setting the expectations thing.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think it's relevant, but I try to tell this to like even experienced guys when it comes to like I don't know if this is gonna be a topic later today, but we talked about like learning how to drill.
Yeah.
Getting the most out of drilling. So I'll kind of touch upon it now, which is like I'll even tell experienced people like, hey, when we do these drills, slow it down. Because there's gonna be a pace and like a level of rigor that we all have where like we'll work faster than our minds will allow us to absorb data. And so maybe this is like learning how to learn kind of thing I was touching upon earlier with the white belts, which is like, hey, like we all have like a tempo that makes sense for us. And most of the time, if you want to get the most out of what you're practicing, like you can slow the tempo down. You can still have a tempo that feels like work, and you should, and you'll be surprised how difficult work will be if you're like not going 100%. If you're going like 40%, but you do for a little bit of time, like it's like doing cardio. It's like sprint, or you could run a little bit like longer, get more mileage perhaps at less RPMs. So the point there is like, hey, like learn how to slow down your drilling. Don't go to a complete halt. Slow it down so you can actually like pay attention to what's taking place. And then like whatever that tempo is for you, because it's an individual thing. We all like have whatever that pace is or that tempo is for ourselves. But you get to that right frequency. And this is like also just kind of like it's a bit of a coach's job to kind of like set the expectation with the room and the athletes in the room. Like, yo, we're going to be doing a little bit of drilling. One of the drilling is some skill acquisition. Not sparring, not yet, because sparring tends to lend itself more towards like getting closer to like fight pace, right? Like,
yeah,
just use generalities, right? Even that fight pace in a training room needs to be tempo moderated as well. But nonetheless, like, hey, we're like, you set the expectation, guys, like we're doing stuff where we should all be picking up some skills, which then means like if you're going 100%, you start to go to close to 100%, you start to limit yourself to like what you referred to earlier, like shit that you can already do when you go 100%. So if you want to pick up new skills or like refine existing skills, like you slow it down. So you like allow yourself to like see when a grip is breaking or when the other dude gets the right grips against you. And then like if you're moving too fast, like you might spaz to get out of it. And like you might not actually observe how or why that person did something successfully against you or you doing something successful against them. So sidebar comment related to the spazzes a little bit. It's like teaching people how to like modulate themselves. And if you're listening to this, like kind of learn, like, because you'll learn it whether or not you know it, but the faster you learn and the more aware of it you are as you start out, like the more you can kind of get the most value out of every minute you're on the mat.
Well, and listen, part of that too is like those parameters are being set for whatever you're doing for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. There's a certain response or a certain set of actions that is trying to be
provided for you.
You were trying, your coach is trying to guide you to a specific thing, right? Like whether that's, hey, I want you to do this move in this situation, or like, hey, our goal today is to get chest to chest. Just worry about that. I don't want you doing, that doesn't mean, hey, we're going to start here and we're going to spar. That's not what this is, right? Like, don't worry about that. Your job isn't to go out there and win on the mat. Your job is to get better. So unless you're whatever, competition pivot, boom.
Bang, pushed.
But like your job is to get better right now. So like if your coach is giving you like, hey, here's the scenario. If you get outside of that, start over, please.
Mhm.
Don't keep rolling. That's not what we're doing right now. That's for later. Right. So and like that honestly, like that is something that you see if you
You see it all the time.
You see all the
I know
time.
exactly
And
what you're talking
sometimes you need to put the more experienced person with the newer people. So you can be like, hey, like,
this is how we're doing
can you
this
moderate
thing today?
this,
Yeah.
please? Moderate your partner so that they do what they're supposed to be doing, because you want to get better too, right? Make sure, like, I can only keep an eye on one pair at a time. Like, I can talk to one of you at a time. Like, you guys have to self-regulate at some point. And then actually off of that, one thing I'd recommend is, put yourself up for adoption, right? Like, be the wife, like, find a mentor in the gym, find someone who's going to be like your guy or girl, that's going to like help you out. Like, find that upper belt that
Adoption
maybe
is awesome, dude. Yeah, that's great.
like maybe you like their game or
100%.
like whatever, but like it makes a big difference when you have someone that you can talk to, because it can be intimidating to talk to the black belt or their actual like professor at the school, your coach, whatever. Like, it can be intimidating to like ask certain questions, right? Sometimes you'd be like, hey man, like, rather than maybe you don't want to ask your coach because you're worried that it might seem like you're seeking a belt or whatever, but like you want to know how to get better, but you're nervous.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have that person that you can talk to, be like, hey man, like, what could I be doing better?
I had so many of those going. People in gyms love doing that too. So I think this is a great call out. Teammates love that shit. They love that, man. I've done it. Obviously now I'm a coach, but yeah, man. I mean, I had so many guys when I first started who were like, it was usually a purple belt, right? But like dudes who are far ahead of you who can help you out a ton. People love kind of taking you. It's a cool thing about being in this environment. It's like you will find someone if you're like open and you kind of just like, if you seek out some guidance, which do that. Why wouldn't you? You're already here. You want to learn. Like that part's easy. Be open to like talking to people who are better than you, and like the people better than you like will be excited to help. They will do it, man. I have people right now who tell me I have blue, purple, brown belts. Who tell me about the people they've taken in. They're like, I've adopted the following people. I'm like, cool. I love that. It's phenomenal, man. The last thing, I do want to respond to one thing you said that I think is really useful too. Not just for white belts, for anyone, but if we can get them when they're white belts and they can start doing it when they're white belts, all the better. Which is listen to your coach. I say fully listen for the purpose of what you said earlier, where it's like if there's a class structure that's been provided for you or a drill or a scale or something, please listen to them and do it. The amount of times I have dudes come in and I'll be like, all right, here's the thing, here's the drill or whatever. And then people kind of go off and do whatever they want. I try to be like not so rigid with, sometimes I also remind myself that some of these guys are just getting off work. They just want to like just move around. It's not a big deal. I don't have to be like totally strict about it. But yeah, like we've put some thought in. There's a reason for why you're being asked to do the following things. Moreover, if you're coming in here and you're like, all right, that's really cool and all, but I want to do whatever I want. Like you might be taking away the experience from the other person who might not have that same frame. Who might be, maybe they're there to actually listen. And then you're like, well, I want to go do what I want to do. Go find your own training room.
Go to open mat, bro. That's what it's for.
Go to open mat.
That's what open mat is for.
There you go.
It's perfectly fine, but there's a time and place for that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think the last kind of just time-wise, the last thing I'd probably put out there is, and this will lead well into next week's episode. Don't put the belt on a pedestal. Like, it's cool and all to get ranked up, but don't, especially when you're first starting, right? Don't worry about that. It goes back to what we're talking about with like setting those goals. Don't worry about getting to blue belt, to purple belt, to brown belt, to black belt. It'll happen. Have fun. Enjoy being a white belt, because once you're not a white belt, you're not a white belt at jiu-jitsu, at least. Again, you got to find something else. You got to chase. You're going to be chasing that dragon, man.
That's right.
You're going to be like Scott and I trying to be white belts
dude.
and everything.
Yeah.
But so, just enjoy that part of it, because one, you lose the excuse of I'm just a white belt. There's expectations now. Well, at least they're different expectations. So, don't be in a hurry. I mean, it's the same thing you would tell those those kids in high school. Don't be in a hurry to get out of high school. Don't be in a hurry to get out of college. Enjoy the experience, right? You don't get to do this again. You don't get to be brand new at jiu-jitsu again. So enjoy it. Embrace it. Learn jiu-jitsu. Have fun learning jiu-jitsu. Everything else will come when it's time for it to happen. So,
I like it.
That's what I would have to say.
Embrace the white belt. It won't last forever.
Embrace the white belt. It won't last forever.
Won't last forever.
And that was Fighters Drinking
Embrace
Coffee.
Embrace the podcast. Man. It won't last forever.
And embrace the podcast. It will last forever.
Well, the podcast itself will, but this episode can't.
This episode definitely cannot last forever. It needs to get its blue belt soon.
Hey.
So, thank you guys for listening to Fighters Drinking Coffee. If you want to listen to more of this, follow, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Fighters Drinking Coffee. You can find Scott
at Scott Dance BJJ. Scott Dance with a D. BJJ.
And then you can find me at Get Sudsy. In the description of the show, we'll have the Discord. Hit that up. Go check that out. Join the community. You can ask us questions directly there, and we will answer them.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask Mr. Sung about that. And also 5 stars, guys. That helps. That moves us up the algorithm, gets us in front of more people. Check it out. We also have some things in the show notes for you guys, some discount codes, so that you guys can get some cool stuff. Especially, we got apparel with Cruise Combat. We've got other stuff. Cruise Combat's a big one, because that's going to be something coming down the pipe as well. We're working on it, working out some designs so that we can get you guys some cool Fighters Drinking Coffee merch. You guys can rep it on the mats.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in the works. Check that out, guys. And thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.